program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson, radio talk show host. You can hear my show every single weekday from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN. And with me, as always, Mecca Music. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. Smart enough to know that if you want to be an elected official this state, you better have a connection to college football.
It's seeming like that.
It absolutely
it's
seems like it's that way. I'm telling you this right now. Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry right now are probably like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do when I get done playing? But well, Ingram's already done. He might be prowling about. I hear he might run for Public Service Commission. I'm making that up. Mecca Music here with us as well. Caroline Dobson will be with us here in just a bit. She is running for Secretary of State, so stay tuned for that. And I've got a party shot for you, oddly enough, about sports. But right now, we got a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and get into the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, let's talk about this. The shutdown is still ongoing. I have heard a lot. No Kings protest was supposed to be the point that people turned, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that already. We are seeing the media very strongly turning against Democrats, I think, on this as they drag this thing out. There's bad clips out there of the number 2 in the House saying, hey, of course Payne's being closed, but that's the only leverage we have, and that's not helping them. Either there doesn't really seem to be any sign on the Republican side where they appear to be maybe acquiescing in any way. In fact, the nuclear options being discussed, they're not using that for a continuing resolution that goes to like November 21st. They're not doing that. So the shutdown is still ongoing. It was possibly going to end by this weekend. It didn't.
Right.
So at the time of this recording, it hasn't. Maybe something surprises us. But do you think it's in the end is in sight?
No, I agree with you. There doesn't seem to be any sort of compromise or any movement by either side. And now I think it's next week that you have the first full paycheck for federal employees that is going to be missed. After that, you've got the SNAP benefits that are going to run out.
And that's a big one.
And that's going to be a huge one. That's a huge, huge pressure point. So my question to you is, it doesn't seem there's going to be a compromise. Republicans, I do not. They're not making any indication that they are going to.
They're dug in and they said, "Do it as long as you want." They don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what do the Democrats do from here?
They're going to have to collapse, and they're going to be seen as collapse. They're going to try to get something out, and Donald Trump is, and the Republicans are like, "No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this." Katie Britt had an interesting comment. I believe it was on Thursday. She was asked about this, and the reporter from AL.com was like, excuse me, don't you know that the polls show that Republicans are being blamed for this? And she said, yeah, well, no kidding. Have you read your coverage? I mean, that's essentially what she said to them. And she's like, look how you guys are covering this thing. So, of course, the third leg of the Democratic Party is the media, or whatever she said. Maybe third arm. Maybe I got that wrong. but either way, that's what it works either way, actually. But the fact of the matter is that's the argument she was making, and the arm of the Democratic Party, being the media, is trying to help them. But
listen, though, I mean, there's so much media out there. There's you. Everybody listens to you.
When I say media, everyone knows I'm saying mainstream media. Okay?
I'm just saying.
I don't consider myself a journalist. I would never do such a disreputable job for such little money. I would never do that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Aniah's Law here. This is an important story, and I cannot oversell this. The fact that you have someone who is on tape engaging in a mass shooting, and then a judge goes, yeah, but what do we let him out? Well, and that can happen is outrageous. It didn't have to happen. The judge did not have to release this individual. He did not have to do it. He chose to release this individual.
All right, so you're talking about
the mass shooting down in Montgomery. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the 4 people arrested. One of them has been released. Because he's only an attempted murderer. Okay, so you can go ahead and release that guy. This is broken. And it's so broken that even Stephen Reed is like, crime is bad. And everyone's like, what? And he's like, crime is bad. And it's like, wow, that's a new position for you. Kay Ivey, the Attorney General, almost anyone with any sense says, look, this is a mess. We got to fix this. This thing was already on the ballot in May. You're going to have a changing of this that would have kept this guy in, but they could have kept him in anyway. The fact that we have to do all this stuff to rein in these judges and things like this is ridiculous. I'm telling you this. The next step of this needs to be punishment for judges that release people who do stuff. I mean,
I think that'll be a harder sell.
It will never happen.
No,
but that should be it.
This is absolutely, I think this will be expanded. This is a perfect example of why it needs to be expanded by a nice law, a great law that had already a huge support when it was originally passed. I mean, obviously, I think this is going to sail through on all fronts.
I mean, and it's a stand-in, in my opinion, for other issues as well. People want their government to try to keep them safe, and they want them to, obviously you can't do everything. Things are going to happen, stuff's going to go down, but the last thing you want is the people who will victimize your community to victimize it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why we're seeing all this stuff about longer sentences, keeping people in even when they're just accused. All this stuff, you're seeing it, and it blows in the back on all the people who were like, defund the police, we don't need this. If only all of that completely failed, and now you're seeing a hard push towards law enforcement.
I would say the other side of that, though, let's also keep in mind that incarcerated individuals, we need the space for them and the standard.
Put them in a tent outside.
I know
don't
you
care.
always say that, but that doesn't fly.
I'll
That's
be nice.
not. You tell
Fine.
me I'm not reality.
Fine.
That is not a real
Fine.
That is not a realistic
Fine.
stance.
No tent. Moving on, let's talk a little bit
talk to you.
about the District 10 House race. This is a swing district. In Madison, we have a pretty interesting thing developing here. You have Republicans saying we're going to take this House seat, and they want to go after it. Now, the person who holds it now, Maryland Lands, I'm going to be polite as I possibly can here, because the way she was elected was she wrote a special election and a very special issue targeting special people. And they went in, and it was solely abortion-based to the point where almost it appeared, I'm not saying this is true, but it appeared as if it was almost fetishistic, the way that thing was covered, the way the New York Times came in here and pushed this kind of thing. This is now a swing district, Mecca. Talk a little bit about the Republican candidate that came out and said, I'm going to go after this.
I will get to that, but let me first mention this was a special election after former Representative David Cole was removed for not actually living in his district.
It's an important thing. You should live in the district.
It is. That's a pretty big thing. So he got removed. He was prosecuted. They have a special election. Okay, now you know how nutty special elections can be.
Oh, this one
right?
was incredibly nutty.
It was. And it was at the height. You're blaming the New York Times. But this was national headlines everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
The crackdown on abortion laws and that was the national
Roe v.
topic.
Wade, all that.
And then exactly. And then we have this candidate, this Democratic candidate, Maryland Lands, who comes out and says, no, this is important. I'm going to stand against that.
And only this.
That was the criticism of her opponent who ran against her. Like, listen, I am not a one-issue candidate. Teddy Powell, he's like, listen, I care about Alabama. I care about business owners. I care about the people and things like that. And but unfortunately, that did get drowned out. It was kind of more of a one-issue election. Yeah. Now, after that election, if you remember, the Republican Party of Alabama came out and was like, this was just, luck.
It's a fluke.
It was a fluke.
It's not
it was
a trend.
And that's actually how a lot of special elections can go.
Yeah.
That's why they're so interesting, and you always need to pay attention to them. And everybody said, as soon as she won, well, let's see what happens when she, when she's battling the top of the ticket.
Yep.
Because if you just count the straight Republican voters alone, that's
she's gonna get wiped out.
That's massive. Okay, now let's talk about the candidate.
Good, because time's up. So
sorry. You never let me talk
Go
this
ahead.
long. You never let me
I asked
talk
you a
this
question.
long.
You didn't even answer it. You're still not answering it. Talk about him.
Aaron Thomas, a local business owner in the district, quickly gaining a lot of popularity, a lot of support is coming his way. Obviously, Republicans want this seat back very badly, and the support is gathering around him.
There's going to be a lot of money in this race, too.
Yes.
A lot of money in this race.
And that's another thing. She's well funded already.
they're good.
Her supporters,
For the reason I laid out, it's borderline weird.
This is probably the only competitive Democrat-Republican race in the state.
Yep. All right, moving on. Earlier, I teased this. I mean, that you need to know football if you want to get elected here in the state of Alabama. And I don't mean you have to like football. You need to actually be on the field at this point. I mean, in order to get it done. I mean, if you have a young daughter, you should just get them into football because at this particular point in time, you're probably going to need it. AJ McCarron running for this seat or this position, as lieutenant governor, is almost out of nowhere. And in the video he released about this, he referenced Charlie Kirk, just like Paul Feinbaum did. Now, I'm not suggesting that's not true, okay? I actually believe, and I'm telling you this right now, and we've talked about it on the program a bunch of times. I had a bunch of people who were very impacted by the Charlie Kirk situation. And AJ McCarron, it's believable that he was very impacted by this as well and wants to get involved in this case. Unfortunately for him, there's already a football player in the race. Wes Allen.
The soccer?
Yeah. No, he played football. Why do I keep telling you this? He played football at Alabama.
I thought we looked it up.
No, he played football
Okay,
at
that's
Alabama.
my bad. I apologize,
yeah, he played football. He played football there in Alabama. So sorry, they already got a football player there in the race.
Yes.
Becca, is this a done deal? Do I need to start calling him Lieutenant Governor?
No, I don't think it's a done deal.
So you don't think this is a slam dunk?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. He's got to present himself as, an informed candidate because he's going up against, and he's labeling himself the outsider, which is very smart.
Outsider, conservative. We got to stop the people in Montgomery. Charlie Kirk.
He's going up two very seasoned politicians, Wes Allen and Rick Pate. We've had both of them on the show.
You know who would like that statement you just made? AJ McCarron.
No, I'm not arguing either side. I'm just pointing out. Okay,
right. That's the dynamic he wants.
Absolutely, and that's the smart way to do it. But he still has to deliver. Like, I know what's going on. And let's not forget how important this position is. Okay, Lieutenant Governor. This is how we got nearly a decade of a Governor Kay Ivey.
Okay.
You never know.
You're right.
Like, it's important.
You're right. I'm flashing back in my mind. You're exactly correct. Yeah, you're exactly.
It is very important.
And the reason why Kay Ivey is there is because nobody thought that. I mean, I'm sorry. She was in the governor's race getting destroyed. And she's like, I don't know, maybe I'll be lieutenant governor.
And then look,
and that's
it's
exactly how it went down.
amazing to me. I feel like not enough people are amazed by this.
Yeah, well, they should be. You're right. 100% right
Thank you.
on that. I think he is the front runner now. I'm sorry. I know people will be like, well, what about and you just laid out the reasoning. I'm just telling you, I think he's the front runner. He's got a great story.
Great story.
And that story goes something like this. 90-yard pass in the Iron Bowl, 2 national championships. They ended up losing that game on the kick six. But it doesn't matter. He's got 2 national championships. Everyone knows who AJ McCarron is.
Absolutely.
It is Tommy Tuberville 2.0. That's what we're looking at here. So I'm not going to start calling him Lieutenant Governor-elect, but we're getting close.
Okay.
We're getting close. All right, when we come back, Caroline Dobson will be with us. She's running for Secretary of State. Keep it locked right here, Alabama Politics This Week.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Get the latest scoop on Bama straight from the coach's mouth. Stream the Kalen DeBoer Show anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant, and Dale Jackson sent you.
At Elite Door Service, we're your local experts for all things garage doors, residential and commercial. Our licensed and insured team is led by a certified master technician. When it comes to garage doors, don't settle for average. Choose Elite Door Service.
Scout Pest Control is your one-stop shop for pest control. We do it all, from rodents to mosquitoes, termites to bedbugs. We offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee on all our services. When you think pest control, think Scout. ScoutPestControl.com. Scout Pest Control is locally owned and operated. We offer superb customer service and can even clean up after pests. When you think pest control, think Scout. Call us at 256-216-1088 or visit ScoutPestControl.com.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one.
But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late.
Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Extra anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca News.
And this week we have a candidate for Secretary of State of Alabama, Caroline Dobson. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Talk to me a little bit about why you entered this race, please.
Yes, well, there's nothing more fundamental than election integrity. We can have good candidates step up to run. We can have an engaged and informed electorate that really shows up to vote. But if we don't have trust in our elections, then we can't guarantee that our kids, our grandkids, grow up in the country that we did. And so I'm raising 2 girls here in Alabama, and I'm running to have trust in those elections, to have trust in our economy too, because as Secretary of State, you're over all business services in this state. I'm the daughter of 2 small business owners. Our family operates a farm down in South Alabama together, and then I am also a real estate attorney. So I've spent my entire career helping small business owners, and we need a Secretary of State who's going to wake up every morning thinking about how they can make it easier, more affordable, more accessible for small businesses to get started, to operate, to grow, because small businesses are the backbone of our economy here in Alabama.
You ran for Congress in the last election cycle in a district that was specifically drawn for a specific kind of candidate, a black Democrat, for lack of a better way to put it. And the Supreme Court is looking at that right now. What did you learn from that race? Because the district was not drawn for a Republican. A lot of Republicans didn't want to jump in there. I mean, yes, and you said, I'm going to take this on. What did you learn from that race?
Well, I was not, like you mentioned, I was not a politician. I am not a politician. I'm a working mom, a proud 5th generation Alabamian. But I was not willing to let South Alabama, to let my home be represented by a far left Washington Democrat without a fight. And I think that's what we need more of. We need more citizen servants stepping forward to fight. But what I did learn about that race is we have tremendous opportunities in this state. We have incredible natural resources, but our best resource is the people. We have incredible people. And so that experience last year, although of course was disappointed in the outcome of that race, although because of the hard work of me, my team, the people that supported me and volunteered and prayed for me, we were actually able to outperform Trump. We were 10th in the nation as far as Republican congressional candidates that outperformed President Trump, where President Trump was doing really well with populations Republicans never had. So hopefully, I think by campaigning throughout South Alabama, I hopefully got some folks to think about who actually represents the values. So because we have some folks in some communities that have traditionally voted Democrat because that's all they've ever done.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. You mentioned Trump doing better with groups that Republicans don't traditionally do good with. Is that about him, or is it about the ideas? Or the third option is about where Democrats are right now. I mean, those I think are the 3 options. Is it about Republican ideas? Is it about Donald Trump, or is it about where Democrats are right now?
I think it's a combination, a confluence of the 3. I think we saw the devastating impacts of the Biden administration and what everything that they did to wreck our country. So it was the ideas. It was also President Trump and how he is committed to restoring trust and transparency in our federal government, and we Alabamians deserve the same here in Alabama, and that is why I decided to run for Secretary of State, because we need trust in our election system. There is no question that the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump, and while Alabama's electoral votes went to President Trump, while we do have some good laws, we need to enforce those laws and we need to build on those laws, because it's not just we need trust that whoever we cast our ballots for is the candidate who wins the race, but it's also when we don't have trust, people are less likely to be engaged. We need people to participate.
Now, you recently published an op-ed talking about this very thing. I'd like you to tell me more about the Election Security Division that you are proposing.
Yes. I've called on the Alabama legislature to create an election integrity division within the Office of Secretary of State. These would be dedicated experts, election law, IT issues, so that when there are claims about election fraud or logistical issues, what have you, there is a direct line of communication, chain of command for following up on those claims. We have some of the finest law enforcement there is, but you can imagine a sheriff's office gets a claim, call about election fraud, and then they get a call about an assault and battery. Which do they deal with first? Some of our sheriff's offices don't have the manpower, the expertise to deal with these claims of election fraud, but that doesn't mean they need to fall to the wayside. We have got to prosecute cheaters in this state, and having a dedicated team under an election integrity division would allow us to better do that.
In Florida, sorry, Dale, you can get that in a minute, but you said Florida had also has a similar situation.
So Florida has an election crimes unit, and you can see Florida's kind of been at the forefront of a lot of election battles. I remember when I was in 8th grade really looking up to and admiring Kathleen Harris, Florida Secretary of State during Bush versus Gore. And so Florida, I think in 2022, put in place an election crimes unit to have, again, a dedicated team that's following up on claims of election fraud. And then they flipped those developed investigated cases back to law enforcement or to Attorney General, U.S. Attorney, District Attorney, depending on the jurisdiction of the claim, to follow up and to prosecute cheaters.
I can tell you what the media is going to ask you already, so I'm going to just give you a question that they're going to ask. Well, they say there's not that many issues of voter fraud and voter issues in the state. Why do we need a division of its own to do that?
No.
I don't actually believe that, but that's the question.
Right. Well, a lot of times people don't know where to report these claims, first and foremost. And then that also kind of leads into another initiative of mine, and that's to call on the legislature to pass post-election audits. We are one of only about 7 states that lacks any type of post-election audit. Even California and New York have that. So having an audit in place would allow us to identify problems we don't know we have, and then for problems that we do know we have would help us better get to the root of those problems and identify how to fix it, how to mitigate it, and address it.
If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it.
Exactly.
It always blows me away when that is the answer. It's like, oh, you don't. Not what you said, but with the way the question frames the issue is like, well, I don't even see these issues. It's like, yeah, because you're not looking for them.
Well, and sometimes it's in rural areas and it's local level elections. But as a product of rural Alabama myself, I would say that again, county commissioner, school board member, these folks impact our daily lives, our kids' futures just as much as a Secretary of State does.
There we go, Caroline Dobson. Thank you very much for running for Secretary of State. We always appreciate the candidates coming in here, and the doors open for all the candidates in this race and all the other races, including AJ McCarron. Doors open for him.
That's right.
As well.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Go ahead and work on that one, and we will make that happen. Again, Caroline Dobson, thank you very much for being here. Mecca is leaving as well, so the show gets so much better. Stay tuned. It's Alabama Politics this week.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Sector anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. My friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant, and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Scout Pest Control is your one-stop shop for pest control. We do it all, from rodents to mosquitoes, termites to bedbugs. We offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee on all our services. When you think pest control, think Scout. ScoutPestControl.com. Scout Pest Control is locally owned and operated. We offer superb customer service and can even clean up after pests. When you think pest control, think Scout. Call us at 256-216-1088 or visit scoutpestcontrol.com.
At Elite Door Service, we're your local experts for all things garage doors, residential and commercial. Our licensed and insured team is led by a certified master technician. When it comes to garage doors, don't settle for average. Choose Elite Door Service.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one.
But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late.
Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Get the latest scoop on Bama straight from the coach's mouth. Stream the Kalen DeBoer Show anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. Don't forget, before we get into the parting shot, head over to yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, and you'll be squared away as soon as that email comes in every single morning. yellowhammernews.com. Right now, though, let's get to that parting shot. All right, my parting shot this week is directed at all of my friends in the media who will be talking about this NBA story and all the gambling and all the other stuff. Who cares? There's a much bigger scandal in the world of sports, and it is the refs in the SEC. Broken by Yellowhammer News, by the way. Broke the story that an SEC official has been suspended from officiating SEC football games because of how many calls they missed during the Georgia-Auburn fiasco. Now think about this. There were 11 questionable calls. They went through and did a review. 9 of them were found to be legitimately complained about. The only person I know that can miss 9 things in one showing is Mecca Music and keep her job. She's the only one. Everyone else who has that situation would absolutely be fired right away. But this referee is now suspended, and that is good for the integrity of the SEC and college sports. That's the bigger story. That has more impact than this bunch of guys gambling in the NBA. Come on. You know, Michael Jordan got suspended for that, right? Okay. Let's move on. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Scout Pest Control is locally owned and operated. We offer superb customer service and can even clean up after pests. When you think pest control, think Scout. Call us at 256-216-1088 or visit scoutpestcontrol.com.